Hello friends, I'm again here with one more topic, or I would say the topic of public interest, that is immunity. More specifically, herd immunity. Now, entire world is having only one kind of problem, challenge, and discussion, that is COVID infection. Common man says corona infection. Why? The reasons are like this. More than 230 countries are having this infection. It has really has and have a deep impact on the entire population of the world. The everyday toll, the number of deaths are increasing in unfortunate cases. Number of patients who have been found positive across the globe is increasing. Because of that, hospitalization is going on. This hospitalization in turn leading to huge financial expenses to the patients. Because of lockdown and unlock, the economy has slowed down. That resulted into a loss of job or setback in the business. This entire scenario is resulting into a variety of psychological outcomes or turbulence. This lockdown, isolation, and unlock, which is a partial lockdown, is giving a feel to most of the people that they are losing their freedom, they are losing their social life. And these are the reasons is finally coming to a one point of discussion, that when we all will get rid of this corona infection, when we all will come back to our normal life, when we all will be able to enjoy our life with full freedom. And of course, everyone is expecting an effective treatment for this. Yet, there is no confined and effective treatment that can be applicable to all the cases of COVID infection. Every day, there are new reports, there are new studies which are publishing, and we are getting some hope with respect to the treatment part. It started with use of hydroxychloroquine. It was a buzzword for the entire world that this hydroxychloroquine can be a wonder drug for the treatment of COVID. But later on, there was some controversy regarding the effectiveness of hydroxychloroquine and possible adverse effect on the cardiac system or cardiovascular system. Later on, again, newer studies have proved yes, it is useful. Later on, now recently, favipiravir has come into picture. Remdesivir is again a point of discussion because it is also giving good results. Remdesivir is found to be useful in critically ill patient. Favipiravir is mild to moderate cases. Earlier to that, few countries have promoted ivermectin based on their clinical findings and use in the patients. Recently, dexamethasone, which is comparatively a cheaper drug, has also come up with its effectiveness, and that is again to a critically ill patients. Apart from allopathy, homeopathy is also playing its role. Ayurveda and other alternative systems of medicine is also playing its role. Arsenic album 30, and recently the point of debate, discussion, or deliberation or controversy, I would say, was a coronary which is developed by the Patanjali. What are the results? What is their justification? That is a different part. But one point is very common, that entire world is expecting a good and effective treatment for this. When these studies are coming, one study is saying something else, another studies come up with a different kind of justification or a logical discussions. So out of that, one more important word has come, and now it has become a buzzword, that is herd immunity. Typically, herd immunity is not a new word or it is not a new concept. It is also called as herd protection. More commonly or more accepted word is herd protection. It is also called as community immunity, group immunity, whatever it is. What it means, when a sufficiently large number of people from the normal population is getting immune to particular pathogen or particular disease, then it is called as herd immunity. Now this herd immunity can be of two types. One is called as natural herd immunity and second is acquired herd immunity. That is specifically reduced by giving a vaccine. Now let's see first what is a natural herd immunity. Now we know that the spread of this COVID is tremendous. That's why every day thousands of cases in India are adding to the number. It means that the spread is very fast. But at the same time, when we read the report, when we saw the newspaper, news channels, or read in the newspaper, that 70 to 80% of people are asymptomatic. It means they show the positive test, but do not develop symptoms or do not have that kind of reactions by that individual. This may be a part of development of immunity. That is called as natural immunity. Now, when this spread is going on, the number of people infected is increasing. Simultaneously, number of people who do not show any symptoms or number of people to get immune, this increases. Now, when this number of people of getting immune is increases, then there will be a one stage when sufficiently large number of people will be immune to that particular pathogen. Here in this case, virus, and hence to this disease. Now, typically, this is called as a particular threshold of immunity, threshold of herd immunity. That is, what is the minimum percentage of the people should be immune so that transmission will not take place, or it will be take place at very negligible way. So that percentage varies from 75% to 95%. In most of the cases, 80% is accepted, but 90% and above is considered to be good. If you get an example of 80%, that 80% of the people are immune, it means that if you take a group of 5 people, 4 people will get immune and only 1 is susceptible. And hence chances of transmission of infection from these 4 to 1 drastically reduces. And when this continues, then the stage comes when the pathogen cannot transmit or it disappears. This is called as immunity or natural immunity, and this leads to recovery. Now there is one more school of thought that many times it has been observed that once the person gets this infection and recover from that infection, the person will get the natural immunity or lifelong immunity. In some cases it is lifelong immunity, in some cases it is for a specific duration. But those patients who have recovered, they will also be a part of this immune people, and thus the number of immune people will be increased. Chickenpox is the best example of this. It has been observed, and the records also, history also says the same thing, that it was very much proved and found that once the child gets the chickenpox infection and recover from that, most of the children get lifelong immunity. And that's why there was one school of thought earlier that if the chickenpox infection child gets chickenpox infection, it's considered to be good because the child will come out of that within a specific period and then he will get rid of that chickenpox for rest of his life. Similarly was for rubella. In ancient times, some Western countries used to organize rubella parties. That one rubella infection and then others, children, by arranging the parties, it was their objective that the other children should come in contact with the patient of rubella and they should get the rubella infection for development of natural immunity. That is that time school of thought. Whether it is applicable to right now or not, that is a different point of view. Similarly, the H1N1 infection, swine flu, in 2008-9. After that, Norway is the one country which has developed this immunity by two ways. One is the natural way, that is allowing the infections to spread so that the patients will have infection and recover and will have immunity, and through vaccines. And we just seen that in the subsequent year 2011 and 10, 11 and 11, 12 report says that the influenza death was drastically or significantly reduced in this country. Recently, this herd immunity again has come on the surface after a statement given by Boris Johnson, Prime Minister of UK, that he said that it is a good way to stop and prevent this COVID by way of development of natural immunity. So it is the other way around. To break the chain, we are imposing lockdown. We are practicing isolation. We are going for testing, tracing, and treatment. I would say it is a one offensive way, while allowing the infection to spread and get the natural immunity is defensive way. Whether we have to go for offensive way or whether we have to go for defensive way, it is determined and it is decided by n number of parameters. Considering this herd immunity threshold, which normally I say 75 to 95% and good above 90%. If you wanted to have natural immunity in the 90% of the people, so considering this exposure is very high as far as the natural immunity is concerned. I have read some report where Sweden and Germany has used this particular way, but it may be different from country to country. It depends largely upon the density of population, total population, and the standard and the status of medical services. In India, country like India, where we are more than 150 crore, and comparatively, the medical system or healthcare system is not that much equipped. It could be a suicidal to have this way of herd immunity. Second important part is how the infection behaves. Chickenpox, smallpox, that is a different issue because the outcome in terms of critically ill patient or death is much lesser. But in case of COVID, it is much higher. That is the first part. Second, the spread of infection is very fast, and hence, if we allow this particular type of spread, then it could be a gamble specifically for medical system to handle the situation. Third, yet the virus behavior is not well known, and hence we can't predict that how it will behave, and hence going by this particular way could be a risk. And hence those who talk about yes, there is the only way of herd immunity, they have to understand all these factors. Probably this thought might have come because of excessive slowdown of economy. People are worried about their livelihood. If economy is shut down for so long, how we will be able to regain? How we will be able to come out of that? That particular thought in turn is coming up with this possibility or provision of natural herd immunity. Now, what is the option of herd immunity? Definitely, herd immunity has to be there. The possibility and the safe possibility is another way, that is acquired immunity through vaccines. Vaccine has been well proved. We have seen so many vaccines. MMR, polio, hepatitis B, and so many vaccines are there, which are classified as essential vaccines and non-essential vaccines. Essential vaccines typically where if you do not vaccinate a particular individual, then the outcome could be very danger, life-threatening, permanent disability like polio, these things. And hence that categories are there. What exactly the vaccines means? It is simple that we have to understand the mechanism of body. Our body has its own defense system. Whenever any pathogen enters or come in contact, then body soldiers, its antibodies are generated, and then they will take care of that infection. Either they will kill, remove, or track them down, these pathogens, and there will be a recovery from the infection. But when this pathogen overpowers the body's defense system, then the infection takes place. And when this power of pathogen increases a lot, where the body is not able to handle, then it leads to a variety of complications that what we are observing or experiencing during this phase of corona. Now here what exactly is happening? Either pathogen becomes overpowered or body is not able to recognize the specific antigens. These are called as antigens, that is pathogens you can say. Or there is a delayed recognition, either no recognition and delayed recognition. Because of both the reasons, within a short time, this pathogen becomes powerful. And similarly is happening in case of corona. That is, COVID is becoming powerful and it is affecting the body adversely. Now, when we give the vaccines is considered to be a soft version of disease. It is a typical antigen which is given with specificity. So it helps body to recognize a particular antigen or a particular pathogen with its specificity, and there is generation of specific antibodies against that antigen. This is also called as specific immunity. Now, when vaccine is given, it is a soft version. It can act as a stimulus for generation of antibodies, but itself cannot harm the body. And hence, the body has its own mechanism to understand the typical antigenicity of that particular pathogen and what kind of antibodies to be generated. Now, this part is done by the vaccine. Now, when the person gets exposed to actual pathogens with virulence, with capacity to damage, then that previously stored information can recognize this pathogen at early stage, and this specificity helps for the production of specific antibodies, and thus it will take care of the infection. The infections which were earlier considered to be a very dangerous, like this COVID, now most of these infections are on the verge of disappearance. Some of them have disappeared. Measles, mumps, rubella, whooping cough, chicken pox, polio, hepatitis. These are the few examples on which we have got a successful control by the way of vaccination. In 1957 or 59, the World Health Assembly has passed the resolution regarding the control of chickenpox through vaccination and put the target of achieving 80% of population to be vaccinated within the next 4 to 5 years. And this program was conducted successfully, and hence chickenpox is no more threat. Similarly, chickenpox, then rubella, specifically congenital rubella syndrome, was a more word of apprehension, more word of concern, and hence in 1997 to 71 to 1988, United Kingdom has successfully completed the vaccination program for the adults or the girls before they enter into reproductive age, and thus they could have control on that. But later on, the United States has changed from 1988, UK has changed from 1988, and United States from 1970 only. They have started giving the second year of life of child, so that later on they developed the immunity, and the congenital rubella syndrome was no more in existence. So what is happening? As many as people you are vaccinated and immune, then the virus will not be able to transmit. Now, when you vaccinate a particular person, what it does, it has a two objectives, or you can say two advantages. One, that individual to whom the vaccine is given, you protect him or her from that particular infection. That is the first part. And second, he is not able to transmit to other, and automatically the transmission reduces. And that's why instead of 100%, it says that the threshold is something over 75% and best is above 90%. So rested 10% are automatically gets protected because of minimized exposure to this. Now, natural immunity, as you said, that 70 to 80% of the people in COVID cases also developing the immunity. Then, what is the need of this? This is specifically important for the vulnerable subject. It means children, specifically below 10 years, senior citizens, specifically above 70 years, and patients having the comorbidity like severe diabetes, hypertension, or immunocompromised patients. Their immune system is already compromised, not that much effective as that of the normal human being. Reason is like person suffering from liver dysfunction, or person who is having the graft surgeries, transplant surgeries, where the immune system is typically reduced with the medication in order to have the proper transplant. In such patient, it is very essential that there should be vaccination. Now, many times it happens that some people say that if everybody around me is vaccinated, why I need to vaccinate? And one way it is correct. Those are called as free riders. That even without vaccination, the person gets protection. But if the percentage of these free riders increases, and if it goes beyond that what is required as threshold, then there is a chances of reinfection. And hence sometimes it has been found that particular pathogenic condition or disease have been considered to be disappeared, but suddenly you find the patient. The reason is behind that. Those remaining people, their number increases, and then the minimum threshold, the percentage of vaccinated people comes down to this minimum threshold of herd immunity, and there will be a spike, or there will be a reinfection or resurgence of such infection, which we must understand. Now, these vaccines are made as a soft version of the disease, because it is typically given or made up of a protein or a sugar part of makeup of pathogen. That is, pathogen is made up of such particular substances. Out of that, sugar or protein is typical antigen is used, and when it is injected, the body considers it as a pathogen and start generating this antibodies, or initiate the self-defense mechanism. Sometimes it is inactivated or a dead pathogen. We also call it as avirulent. It can be a toxoid containing the toxin made by the pathogen, like tetanus toxin. That is toxin which is responsible for adverse effect is converted into a part called as toxoid, or sometimes it is highly recurrent pathogen which can only act while traveling in the body as an antigen but cannot harm the body, but at the same time it is responsible for development of antibodies. So this is the vaccine works. In both the cases, it is the mechanism is same. Only thing is that in vaccines we are having a controlled exposure. You are exposing to the pathogen, but the pathogens are not virulent. They can only act as antigen and not able to develop this disease. Similarly, you can have a controlled program of that. But on the contrary, if you talk about the natural immunity, you don't have any control on that. If you just allow the people to get infected, and so that part of the people will recover. No doubt, theoretically, it sounds very good that 80% of the people will get immunity, 20% of people we will give the medical facility. But how, what is the cost of natural herd immunity can be explained by only that person or that family who lose their beloved one to this particular COVID. And hence, at this moment, as my personal opinion, natural herd immunity is not the solution. The people, scientists across the globe are working on preparation of vaccines. Generally, 8 to 10 years it may take to develop the vaccines, but still on a priority, people are working on that. Almost more than 350 different groups, which includes the pharmaceutical industry or specifically their R&D unit, educational institute of repute, are working together, and some of them have started the clinical trials, that is, their testing on the human volunteers followed by patients to check its authenticity, safety, efficacy, everything. It will take some time, but we are hopeful that vaccines will come and we will be opting this artificial acquired way of generation of immunity, and through the program, specific program, control program, we can vaccinate the minimum threshold to reach to minimum threshold, and we will get out of this infection. But till that, definitely natural herd immunity is not the solution, and hence we have to currently we have to follow the advisory, that is keep physical distancing, use mask whenever you are getting exposed to particular environment, or you are going out or meeting someone. Minimum 6 foot distance should be kept while conversation or meeting the people. Use mask, wash your hands frequently, regularly, and take care of yourself. Thank you for the day.